Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are tackling a topic that causes, well, let's be honest, a lot of anxiety and probably a few sleepless nights for project managers all over the world. We're going to demystify the notoriously strict PMP application process. Because if you're gearing up to apply, you already know that documenting your PMP application experience can feel like a massive, exhausting administrative hurdle. But today, we're going to take that daunting task and turn it into a highly manageable, logical checklist. We'll be looking directly at PMI's guidelines to figure out exactly what they want to see so you can present your professional background with total confidence. Let's get into it.
Here is our roadmap for the explainer today. First, defining true project experience. Second, the anatomy of a description. Third, handling confidential projects. And fourth, surviving the audit process.
All right. Section 1. Defining true project experience. What actually counts? Let's dive right in and address the very first hurdle, understanding what PMI actually considers a valid professional project.
Okay, so before you even touch a keyboard to type up your application, you've got to review your background to ensure it perfectly aligns with this foundational standard. PMI's certification program is specifically designed to make sure all certification holders have proven their competence through fair and valid measures. And honestly, that all starts with the baseline definition of your work. According to the PMBOK Guide, Section 1.2, a project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. That word temporary right there, that is absolutely crucial. It means your work had to have a clear beginning and a clear end. It literally couldn't just be business as usual or some ongoing state of affairs.
Take a look at the stark contrast on this slide. It is night and day. You've got true, unique project work on the left versus daily routine responsibilities on the right. And let me tell you, this is a trap so many applicants fall into. PMI is incredibly explicit about this. The experience you list must be true project work. If your responsibilities were routine, operational, or just administrative, they absolutely cannot make it into your application. For example, managing a monthly payroll cycle, yeah, that's operational. But building a brand new automated payroll software system from scratch, now that is a unique project. You really have to be ruthless in filtering your experience through this lens before hitting submit.
And you know, it's not just about the nature of the work itself, it's also about your specific role within it. According to the PMP exam content outline, you have to show that you performed your duties under general supervision and were responsible for all aspects of the project for its entire life. Basically, you have to prove that you were the one holding the reins, leading the charge for the whole life cycle. You can't have just been a team member playing a minor or isolated role, like, say, just coding one single feature of a massive software release. No. PMI wants to see that you directed the various aspects of the endeavor all the way from initiation straight through to closing. Moving on to Section 2. Anatomy of a description, building the perfect project entry. Let's see how our definition of project work translates into the actual writing process. Since every single project needs to be its own entry formatted for a professional organization. This right here is your blueprint. It's the exact anatomy of a perfect project description that you need to follow to summarize your PMP application experience clearly. First up, give it a true project title. And note, this should be the name of the project itself, not your job title. Next, hit them with a brief, one-sentence objective. Just ask yourself, what was the core purpose or goal here? Then you deliver the meat of the entry, a high-level description summarizing your experience. This is where you lay out your role, your specific responsibilities, and the deliverables you managed. Finally, you land the plane with a brief, one-sentence project outcome. This highly structured narrative format is exactly what reviewers want to see so they can quickly grasp your capabilities.
Ultimately, the whole point of this description is to prove one big thing, that you can lead. Drawing from the exam content outline again, you've got to explicitly show how you directed cross-functional teams to deliver projects within the classic golden constraints of schedule, budget, and scope. You need to demonstrate that you actually have the knowledge and experience to apply a methodology appropriately. Reviewers are looking for hard evidence that you took reasonably well-defined requirements and successfully managed the deliverables. So whatever you do, don't just give them a laundry list of tasks. Craft a mini narrative that actually shows you actively managing those constraints.
Let's look at Section 3, handling confidential projects, protecting sensitive information. Now, this is a major point of confusion and stress for folks working in corporate, military, or government environments.
So, what happens if your project is highly confidential? It is incredibly common to be tied up by NDAs or strict security clearances that literally prevent you from sharing what you were actually building.
If you're sweating about violating confidentiality agreements, I have great news. PMI totally gets it. They explicitly state that candidates are not required to provide any sensitive details in their application. Seriously, you do not have to risk your job or break a legal contract just to prove you have project management experience.
The really crucial takeaway here is that you can use a hyper-general title. You can literally just call it Project 1. When it comes to the description itself, you just pivot away from the secret stuff and focus entirely on the mechanics of project management. PMI just wants details, speaking to the general size of the project, the methodology used, and how exactly you led the work. Think about it. You can easily explain that you managed a cross-functional team of 50 people with a multi-million-dollar budget using an agile methodology, all without ever revealing the proprietary software or classified widget you were actually developing. It's totally doable.
All right, bringing us to Section 4, surviving the audit process. It's just a mechanical process. Let's neutralize the fear around this by looking at exactly what happens if you get randomly selected.
First off, take a deep breath. Seriously. A lot of people view the PMI audit as a penalty or some sort of accusation that they've lied or done something wrong. It is absolutely not. An audit is literally just a standardized verification process. Like we talked about earlier, the program is designed to ensure competence through fair measures. The audit is just the mechanism PMI uses to maintain the high standard and global integrity of the PMP credential. If you get picked, it simply means you need to upload a few pieces of documentation for your education requirements and verify your work history. That's it.
This chronological flow right here shows exactly what you'll do, and moving through the dashboard is super manageable. First, you log into your pmi-pmp account. Then, you access the audit package. Next, you just upload your academic and professional education documents, so things like a PDF of your degree or your 35 contact hours certificate. Then comes the most important step, pinging your contacts for e-verification regarding the work experience you claimed. Once everything is gathered, verified, and logged in the system, you just hit submit. It's a completely streamlined digital checklist.
So look at what we've covered today. We walked through the strict definition of project work, the step-by-step anatomy of a perfect description, how to safely handle your confidential information, and the purely mechanical reality of the audit process. Documenting your PMP application experience doesn't have to be a massive roadblock, right? It's really just a framework to showcase the leadership skills you've already worked so hard to build. So I want to leave you with this one provocative thought. Your true project experience might be absolutely world-class, but if it isn't documented to PMI's exact standards, does it really count? Don't let your expertise get lost in translation. Go look at your resume, apply these guidelines we just talked about, and claim the recognition you absolutely deserve.